The dog stopped before the girl even moved. In the middle of a Saturday crowd, kids laughing, sneakers squeaking on polished tile, the smell of cinnamon pretzels drifting through the air, Rex locked his body like a statue, ears forward, eyes fixed on a teenager standing perfectly still near the escalator. She wasn't crying. She wasn't calling for help. But her right hand twitched once, then went still again, like a signal sent to someone who wasn't supposed to notice. Caleb Ward felt the leash tighten in his grip, not from force, but from intent. Rex didn't pull. He leaned. Subtle. Controlled. Wrong. Easy. Caleb muttered under his breath, scanning the area. Nothing obvious. No raised voices. No sudden movement. Just a girl in a gray hoodie, standing too straight, staring straight ahead like she was waiting for something to happen. Or trying to stop it. Rex didn't blink. That was the first thing Caleb noticed. His K9 partner always blinked, even in alert mode. But now his amber eyes were wide, unbroken, reflecting the overhead lights like glass. Rex, Caleb said again, softer this time, a command wrapped in calm. The dog didn't respond. Not even a flick of the ear. That's when Caleb's pulse shifted. Not faster, sharper. Because Rex didn't ignore commands. Not after 6 years together. Not after Kandahar, after Charleston, after every mission where instinct meant survival. If Rex was holding, it meant he was reading something Caleb couldn't see yet. The girl moved. Barely. Just a step forward into the flow of people. But her hand dropped slightly at her side, and there it was again. A small motion. 2 fingers. Then stillness. Not a wave. Not a fidget. A pattern. Rex exhaled through his nose, low and controlled. Not a growl. Not yet. Caleb followed her with his eyes now, shifting his stance, adjusting his grip. You see something? He murmured, more to himself than the dog. Because whatever Rex saw, it wasn't loud enough for the world. Not yet. The mall carried on like nothing had changed. A stroller rolled past. A teenager laughed too loudly near a phone kiosk. Somewhere above them, a sale announcement echoed through speakers, cheerful and hollow. But in the middle of it all, there was a space forming. Invisible. Centered on that girl. She reached the base of the escalator and paused. Didn't step on. Didn't look back. Just stood there, like she was waiting for permission from something unseen. Rex shifted his weight forward. Just an inch. Caleb felt it like a warning shot. Hold, Caleb said, firmer now. The command landed, but Rex didn't obey. He didn't disobey either. He hovered in between, muscles coiled, as if choosing which rule mattered more. Training or instinct. That's when Caleb saw it. Not the girl. The man behind her. 10 feet back. Mid-40s, maybe. Ball cap low. Hands in his jacket pockets. He wasn't touching her. Wasn't even looking directly at her. But he matched her pace. Step for step. Distance never changing. Too precise to be coincidence. Caleb's eyes narrowed. Stay, he whispered, but now his attention split. Half on Rex, half on the man. The girl's hand moved again. Smaller this time. Almost nothing. But Rex reacted. A low vibration started in his chest. Not sound. Not yet. Just pressure. Like thunder before it breaks. Caleb's grip tightened on the leash. What is it, boy? He breathed. More question than command. Because now the air felt different. Thicker. Charged. Like something had already started, and they were the only ones who hadn't caught up. The girl stepped onto the escalator. Slow. Mechanical. The man followed 2 steps behind. Same distance. Same silence. Rex took 1 step forward. Then stopped. Then, without warning, he sat. Hard. Alert posture. Eyes locked upward as the escalator carried them away. Caleb froze. That wasn't random. That was a signal. Rex only sat like that when he identified something specific. Something trained. Something real. Caleb followed Rex's gaze up the moving stairs. The girl didn't look down. Not once. But her hand rested against her side. Fingers slightly curled. And just before she disappeared onto the 2nd floor, she moved them again. 2 taps. Pause. 1 tap. Then gone. Rex let out a single breath. Not a bark. Not a growl. Just enough to say, he saw it. Caleb swallowed, his instincts finally catching up to the moment. That wasn't random, he said. Quietly, already stepping forward, eyes locked on the escalator. Because whatever that signal meant, Rex understood it. And if Rex understood it, then something was already wrong. Caleb didn't run. That was the first decision he made as the escalator carried the girl out of sight. Running would mean panic, and panic meant losing control of a situation he didn't yet understand. But Rex didn't wait. The dog rose from his seated alert like a spring released, not lunging, not barking, just moving with a purpose that cut clean through the noise of the mall. Rex, heel, Caleb ordered, stepping in sync as they approached the escalator, his voice low but edged now. This time, Rex obeyed, but barely. His body stayed angled forward, eyes fixed upward, every muscle communicating urgency, without chaos. That alone tightened something in Caleb's chest, because Rex only moved like that when the clock had already started ticking. The escalator hummed beneath their boots, carrying them up through a wash of fluorescent light and echoing chatter. Caleb's gaze swept the upper level, searching for gray fabric, for stillness in motion. Nothing. Just storefronts, sale signs, a cluster of teenagers near a railing, a mother tugging a child away from a candy display. Normal. Too normal. Where'd she go? Caleb muttered, stepping off the escalator, scanning left, then right. Rex didn't hesitate. He turned sharply to the right corridor, nose low now, not tracking scent, but something else. Memory. Pattern. Caleb followed, his stride lengthening, eyes catching every reflection in the glass windows they passed. And then, Rex stopped again. Abrupt. Right in front of a bench near a directory kiosk. No one was sitting there now. Just a half-crushed paper cup rolling slightly from the air conditioning vent, and a shopping bag tipped on its side. Caleb frowned. What is it? He asked, crouching slightly as Rex circled once, tight and controlled, then lowered his head toward the ground. Not sniffing wildly. Targeting. That's when Caleb saw it. A phone. Small. Black. Lying face down beneath the bench, just far enough back that it wouldn't be noticed unless you were looking for it. Or unless you were Rex. Caleb's eyes narrowed as he reached under, pulling it out. The screen lit up the moment he turned it over. No lock screen. No notifications. Just a blank white display. Except for 3 faint smudges across the glass. Not fingerprints. 2 deliberate. Lines. Parallel. Like someone had dragged their fingers across it in a pattern. Caleb's pulse ticked up. She left this. He murmured, more realization than guess. Rex's ears twitched, his gaze flicking from the phone to the corridor ahead. Not done. Not even close. Then the screen changed. No sound. No alert. Just a flicker. And suddenly, a timer appeared. 2:17. 2:16. 2:15. Caleb froze. No. The word barely left his mouth before Rex let out a low, controlled growl. Deeper this time. Undeniable. Not fear. Recognition. That's not random, Caleb said, his voice tightening as he stood, eyes scanning the corridor again, faster now, sharper. Because this wasn't just a lost phone. This was a message. A breadcrumb. A countdown. Rehook. And suddenly, the signal wasn't something that had already happened. It was something still happening. Rex, track, Caleb ordered, no hesitation now. The dog moved instantly, pivoting away from the bench, nose lifting slightly, not to the ground, but to the airspace ahead, reading movement, reading absence. Caleb followed, one hand gripping the phone, the other tightening on the leash. The timer hit 2:03. People passed them, unaware. A couple laughed as they walked by. A man argued into a headset near a storefront. Life continued. But Caleb felt the shift now, fully. That invisible space from before, it was bigger, closer. And somewhere inside it, something was counting down. Rex slowed near the corner of the corridor, just before it opened into the food court. His body tensed again, but this time, he didn't stop. He angled slightly left, eyes locking onto something Caleb couldn't yet see. You got her, Caleb whispered. Rex didn't look back. He didn't need to. The answer was already pulling them forward. And the timer dropped below 2 minutes. The timer hit 1:58 just as Caleb stepped into the food court, and the world got louder, brighter, more dangerous all at once. Fryers. Hissed. A blender roared somewhere behind a smoothie counter. 100 voices overlapped into a dull, constant noise that swallowed subtlety whole. And yet Rex didn't hesitate. He cut through the chaos like it wasn't there, moving straight ahead, nose slightly lifted, tracking something invisible but urgent. Caleb stayed tight behind him, eyes sweeping fast now. Tables, faces, bags, hands. Everyone looked normal. That was the problem. Clock's running. Buddy. Caleb muttered, glancing at the phone again. 151, 150. Too fast. Whatever this was, they were already late. Rex slowed near the center of the seating area, his pace shifting from direct to deliberate. Not lost. Narrowing. Caleb followed his line of sight, and then he saw her. Emily, sitting alone at a table near the edge of the food court, back straight, hands resting flat on the surface like she'd been told not to move them. Her gray hoodie looked darker under the harsh overhead lights. Her face pale, eyes fixed forward, not on Caleb, not on Rex, but somewhere just beyond them. Waiting, or bracing. Caleb's pulse spiked. There you are, he breathed, but something in his chest tightened immediately after. Because she wasn't relieved. She wasn't reacting. She didn't even blink. Rex stopped 10 feet short of her table. Not approaching. Not yet. His body stiffened, ears forward, tail low. Not fear, not aggression. Calculation. Why aren't you moving? Caleb whispered, more to himself now, his instincts pulling in two directions at once. Go to her. Stop. Think. The timer hit 1:34. A man passed between them, carrying a tray of sodas, completely unaware. A child laughed nearby, dropping fries onto the floor. Life continued. But Caleb felt the edge now, sharp, immediate. Rex, easy, he said, lowering his voice as he stepped slightly to the side, trying to change his angle. That's when Emily's hand moved again. Barely. 2 fingers tapped once against the table, then paused, then tapped again. Rex's head tilted, just a fraction. Recognition, not confusion. And then Caleb saw it. Not on her hands, not on her face. On the floor beneath the table. A shadow that didn't match the lighting. Too solid, too contained. Caleb shifted one step closer, eyes narrowing, adjusting his angle again, and the shape came into view. A backpack, dark, resting upright between her feet. Too still, too perfectly placed, and strapped tighter than it should be. Caleb's breath caught. No. The word slipped out before he could stop it. The timer read 1:22. Rehook. And suddenly, it wasn't about finding the danger anymore. It was about understanding who it was attached to. Rex took one slow step forward, then stopped again. His eyes flicked from Emily's face to the bag, then back to her. Not choosing. Reading. Don't move, Caleb said quietly, his voice steady now but edged with urgency, even though she hadn't spoken a word. Emily's eyes shifted, just slightly, not to Caleb, to Rex. And for the first time, something broke through the stillness. Fear. Not loud, not panicked, but deep, controlled, like someone holding it down with everything they had left. Caleb felt it hit him like a wave. This wasn't a suspect. This was someone trying not to become one. The timer dropped to 1:10. Sweat gathered at the back of Caleb's neck despite the air conditioning. His mind raced, piecing fragments together. Silent signal, abandoned phone, countdown, the man from before, and now this. A girl sitting still in the middle of a crowded food court with something strapped at her feet. But one question cut through everything else, louder than the noise, sharper than the ticking clock. If she wasn't trying to hide it, then why was she showing it only to Rex? Rex's body shifted again, lower now, closer to the ground. Not submission. Focus. Precision. Waiting for the exact moment. Caleb swallowed hard, stepping forward just enough to close the distance by another foot. Rex, he whispered, barely audible over the chaos around them. Tell me what I'm missing. The dog didn't look back. He was already locked onto the answer, and the timer dropped below 1 minute. Caleb could feel it now, the weight of a decision pressing down before he even fully understood the rules of the situation. 1 minute. Maybe less. The crowd hadn't noticed. Not yet. But that was the fragile illusion holding everything together. If he raised his voice, if he cleared the area too fast, if he made the wrong move, panic would ripple outward, unpredictable, uncontrollable. And whatever sat in that bag at Emily's feet might not wait for control. Rex shifted again, lowering himself slightly, eyes locked not just on the backpack, but on her. Always back to her. That was the part Caleb couldn't ignore. Okay. Caleb murmured under his breath, forcing his breathing to slow, to match the pace he needed instead of the urgency clawing at his chest. He took one careful step closer, then stopped. The timer hit 0:54. Emily's fingers twitched again against the table. Smaller now, weaker, but deliberate. She wasn't frozen. She was holding. Caleb saw it clearly now, the tension in her shoulders, the way her jaw clenched just enough to keep it from shaking. She wasn't waiting for help. She was waiting for the right help. And somehow, she had chosen Rex. Not him. Not anyone else. Rex let out the faintest sound, barely audible, a low hum in his chest. Not a warning. Not yet. A signal. Back to her. Emily's eyes flickered downward for a fraction of a second. Toward the bag. Then back to Rex. Caleb's mind raced. She's guiding him. Not reacting. Guiding. But why him? Why AK-9 in the middle of a crowded mall? The timer dropped to 0:47. A couple sat down at a nearby table, laughing over a tray of burgers. Too close. Too exposed. Caleb's instincts screamed to act, to grab her, pull her away, clear the area, but every instinct built over years with Rex held him back just as hard. Because Rex wasn't panicking, and Rex never stayed calm when things were simple. Conflict settled deep in Caleb's chest. Trust the training or override it. Seconds were bleeding away, and the wrong choice wouldn't just fail. It would cost lives. Talk to me, Caleb whispered, his voice steady but strained, eyes flicking between Emily and the bag. Give me something. Emily didn't speak. Couldn't. But her fingers moved again. 2 taps. Pause. 1 tap. Slower this time. Like it cost her something. Rex's ears twitched sharply. Recognition again. Deeper now. Not just noticing. Understanding. Caleb swallowed hard. You've seen this before, he said quietly. More realization than question. Because Rex wasn't guessing. He was remembering. Rehook. And suddenly, the signal wasn't just a plea for help. It was a language Caleb had never been taught. The timer hit 0:39. Caleb shifted his weight, lowering himself slightly, bringing his eye level closer to Rex's line of sight. All right, he exhaled, decision forming in real time. I follow you. Not command. Trust. Rex moved. 1 step forward. Slow. Controlled. Then another. Closing the gap inch by inch toward the table. Caleb mirrored him, every movement measured, careful not to disrupt the fragile balance Emily was holding together. The crowd continued to blur around them, unaware that the center of their normal afternoon had narrowed to a single table, a single girl, a single ticking clock. Rex stopped just within reach of the backpack. He didn't touch it. Not yet. His eyes lifted once more, to Emily. Waiting. Permission. Emily's lips parted slightly. No sound came out, but her eyes softened for just a second. And that was enough. The timer read 0:28. Caleb felt his pulse in his throat now, loud, relentless. Every second louder than the last. He didn't know what Rex was about to do. He didn't know what was inside that bag. He didn't know if they had seconds, or less. But he knew one thing with absolute clarity now. If he broke this moment, if he misread it, there would be no second chance. Do it, Caleb whispered, barely breathing the words. Rex didn't hesitate. Rex moved. Not fast, not reckless, but with a precision that cut through the noise like a blade. 1 step, then another. His body lowered, shoulders tight, eyes locked on the backpack as if it were alive. Caleb felt the shift instantly. This wasn't caution anymore. This was engagement. The timer read 0:24. Easy, easy, Caleb whispered, but his voice had changed. Less control, more urgency. Around them, chairs scraped, trays clattered, laughter rose and fell, none of it slowing, none of it noticing. That was the most terrifying part. The world kept moving. Rex reached the edge of the table, close enough now that Caleb could see the fine tremor in Emily's hands, barely contained. Close enough to see the strap of the backpack pulled unnaturally tight across her legs, as if it had been fixed there. Not resting. Secured. Rex leaned in. Not touching yet. Just breathing. Slow. Deep. Reading. Caleb watched his dog's chest expand, contract, each breath deliberate, each second measured. And then, Rex froze. Completely. No movement. No sound. Just stillness so absolute it felt louder than anything else in the room. Caleb's stomach dropped. Because Rex only froze like that when he confirmed something. Not suspicion. Not possibility. Certainty. What is it? Caleb murmured, voice barely holding together. The timer hit 0:19. Rex's head tilted slightly, just enough for Caleb to follow his line of sight. Not the bag. Not the straps. The zipper. Half an inch open. And inside wires. Not loose. Not tangled. Organized. Intentional. Caleb's breath caught in his throat. No, This time louder. This time real. Emily flinched at the sound, but didn't move away. Couldn't. Her eyes snapped to Caleb for the first time. And in them, no denial. No confusion. Just one clear, devastating truth. She knew. Rehook. But the way she looked at him wasn't the look of someone who built it. It was the look of someone counting down with it. The timer dropped to 0:15. Caleb's training surged forward. Protocol, containment, evacuation, but every standard procedure shattered against the reality in front of him. Too many people. Too little time. And one critical variable he couldn't solve. Why wasn't she running? Listen to me, Caleb said quickly, dropping lower now, voice tight but controlled, eyes locked on hers. We can get you out. Just move your feet, slowly. Emily shook her head. Small. Immediate. Final. No. Rex's ears snapped back for a split second. Not fear, but correction. Like Caleb had just stepped outside the rules of something he didn't understand. What? Why? Caleb pressed, frustration breaking through. Why won't you move? Emily's lips parted again. No sound. But her fingers moved. Faster this time. Urgent. 2 taps. Pause. 2 taps. Then a drag across the table surface. Rex reacted instantly. A sharp inhale. A shift in posture. Recognition, but different this time. Not just understanding. Alarm. Caleb's heart slammed harder. What did she just say? He demanded under his breath, eyes flicking between her hand and Rex's face. Because whatever that signal meant, it had changed something. The timer hit 0:11. Rex pulled back slightly from the bag. Not retreating. Recalculating. His gaze snapped past Emily, behind her. Caleb followed instinctively and saw him again. The man. Same distance. Same stillness. Watching. Not intervening. Not running. Just waiting. And suddenly, the pieces didn't fit the way Caleb thought they did. The girl. The signal. The device. The man. None of it aligned into something simple. None of it followed the rules he knew. You're not the trigger, Caleb whispered, realization creeping in, cold and incomplete. Emily's eyes flickered, just enough to confirm it. But if she wasn't, then who was? The timer dropped to 0:08. And Rex stepped forward again, but this time, not toward the bag. Rex, no. Caleb's voice cracked, but the command came too late. The dog had already turned away from the bag. Not hesitating. Not doubting. Redirecting. The timer read 0:07. Rex moved past Emily's table in one smooth, controlled motion, his body cutting through the narrow gap between chairs, eyes locked forward, not on the device, not on the girl, but on the man standing 10 feet behind her. The same distance. The same stillness. Waiting. And suddenly, everything Caleb thought he understood shifted. Hey, Caleb called out, rising fast now, adrenaline breaking through restraint. You stop right there. The man didn't run. That was the first thing that felt wrong. He didn't flinch. Didn't reach for anything. He simply watched Rex approach, his expression calm. Too calm for someone seconds away from being exposed. The timer hit 0:05. Rex closed the distance. 3 feet. 2. 1. And then, he sat. Hard. Directly in front of the man. Alert posture. Eyes locked upward. Not attacking. Not biting. Signaling. Caleb's breath caught. Because that wasn't an apprehension command. That was identification. Rex, Caleb whispered, confusion slicing through urgency. What are you, Rehook? And then the man smiled. Not wide. Not dramatic. Just enough to break the illusion. Took him long enough. The man said quietly, his voice steady, controlled, familiar in a way that didn't immediately make sense. Caleb froze mid-step. That voice. You're not. Caleb started, but the words fell apart as recognition slammed into place. Not a suspect. Not a bystander. You're military. The man's eyes flicked briefly to Caleb's insignia. Then back to Rex. Used to be, he replied. The timer dropped to 0:04. Rex didn't move. Didn't blink. Just held position, as if locking the moment in place. Caleb's mind raced, pieces snapping together at impossible speed. Rex's recognition, the signal, the restraint, the precision of the device. This wasn't random. This wasn't amateur. This was built by someone who understood both sides. You trained him, Caleb said, the realization landing heavy. Didn't you? The man exhaled slowly, not denying it. Not him, he said, but I trained the ones who taught him. The timer hit 0:03. Emily's breathing broke behind them, shallow, controlled, but slipping now under the weight of time. Caleb turned halfway, torn between two threats that suddenly weren't what they seemed. Then call it off. Caleb snapped. Deactivate it now. The man's gaze shifted past Rex, past Caleb, landing briefly on Emily. And for the first time, something changed in his expression. Not fear, not guilt, something deeper. Regret. I can't, he said. The words hit harder than anything else so far. The timer dropped to 0:02. Caleb's chest tightened. What do you mean you can't? The man's jaw flexed once, as if choosing what to say in the last seconds he had. Because I didn't arm it, he replied. Silence. Just for a fraction of a second. But it was enough to break everything Caleb thought he understood. Rehook. If he didn't arm it, then why was he standing here waiting? Caleb's eyes widened, snapping back toward Emily, toward the bag, toward the invisible lines connecting all of them. Rex shifted for the first time since sitting, just a slight turn of his head. Not toward the man, toward Emily. The timer hit 0:01. And in that final second, Emily's fingers moved one last time. Not a pattern, not a signal, a reach. Toward Rex. Not the bag. Not Caleb. The dog. Trust. Absolute and unspoken. And that's when Caleb understood the final piece. Not fully, not completely, but enough. Rex, down, he shouted, voice cutting through everything. The dog dropped instantly, body low to the ground. The timer hit midnight, and the world held its breath. Nothing happened. Not at first. No blast. No flash. No shockwave tearing through glass and bone. Just silence. Thick, unnatural, swallowing the noise of the mall in a way that made every heartbeat feel too loud. Caleb's lungs locked mid-breath. His body braced for impact that never came. Rex stayed down, pressed to the floor, muscles coiled but unmoving, eyes still locked on Emily. The timer had hit 0, and yet the world hadn't ended. Rehook, which meant the countdown wasn't for an explosion. It was for something else. Caleb's mind snapped forward, adrenaline shifting direction, searching for the missing piece. What did we just stop? He whispered, more to himself than anyone else. Behind him, the man exhaled slowly, like a weight had finally settled instead of lifted. You didn't stop it, he said quietly. Caleb turned sharply. Then what the hell was that? The man's eyes moved again, to Emily, to the bag, then back to Rex. A test, he said. The word hit wrong. Too small. Too clean. Caleb's jaw tightened. People could have died. They didn't, the man replied. No pride. No defense. Just fact. That made it worse. Caleb stepped closer, anger rising now, sharp and immediate. You put a live device in a crowded mall and call it a test. The man didn't answer right away, because he didn't need to. Caleb already knew the truth wasn't that simple. He looked back at Emily and saw it clearly now. She wasn't panicking. Not anymore. She was shaking, yes, but not from fear of what almost happened. From holding something for too long. From carrying weight that was never supposed to be hers. Rex rose slowly from the floor, not rushing, not reacting to the man at all. He moved back toward Emily, each step deliberate, careful, as if approaching something fragile instead of dangerous. Caleb watched, something in his chest shifting again, away from anger, toward something heavier. Emily's eyes followed Rex the entire way, and when he reached her, she broke. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a quiet collapse of control. Her shoulders dropped. Her breath hitched once, then again, and her hand, finally free, reached out and rested against the side of Rex's neck. The dog didn't flinch, didn't move away. He leaned into it. Solid, present, real, like he'd been waiting for that contact the entire time. Caleb swallowed hard, the tension inside him twisting into something deeper than fear. Because this wasn't just about a device anymore. This was about what she had been asked to carry, what she had been trusted or forced to do. You knew, Caleb said quietly, stepping closer, voice no longer sharp but heavy with realization. You knew he'd understand. Emily didn't answer, but her fingers curled slightly into Rex's fur, gripping just enough to say yes. Rex's ears flicked back once, soft, responsive, not alert now, not tracking threats. Anchoring. Caleb crouched down slowly across from her, lowering himself to her level, the noise of the mall beginning to seep back in around them. Distant, muted, irrelevant. Why him? Caleb asked, his voice steady but softer than before. Why trust a dog in the middle of all this? Emily's lips parted, her voice finally breaking through. Quiet, fragile, but clear. Because he listens. The words landed harder than anything else so far. Caleb blinked, something tightening in his chest. Rex didn't move, just stayed there, absorbing her grip, her breath, her fear as it bled out slowly into something safer. Rehook. But if this was a test, then someone had been watching to see if she would fail. Caleb's eyes flicked back to the man, standing exactly where he'd been the entire time. Still, observing, not intervening, not helping, waiting. And suddenly, the danger didn't feel like it had passed at all. It had just changed shape. You said you didn't arm it, Caleb said, rising slowly, his voice calm but edged again with something sharper. So who did? The man didn't answer immediately. His gaze lingered on Emily for 1 second longer than necessary, then shifted to Caleb. And for the first time since this started, he didn't look in control, just tired. That's the part you're not going to like, he said quietly. And Rex turned his head. What happens when a silent signal is the only way to survive? In this gripping cinematic story, a U.S. Marine and his highly trained German Shepherd K9 are drawn into a chilling moment inside a crowded mall, where a young girl communicates without words, and only the dog understands. As tension rises and a mysterious countdown begins, the Marine must decide whether to trust his instincts or his partner's unshakable loyalty. This emotional journey blends suspense, mystery, and deep human-animal connection, making it one of the most unforgettable animal stories you'll experience. From the first unusual movement to the shocking reveal that changes everything, this story keeps you on edge while exploring trust, sacrifice, and the silent bond between a soldier and his K9. But when the truth unfolds, nothing is what it seemed, and the real question becomes, who was truly being tested? If you love powerful animal stories filled with hidden signals, emotional depth, and unexpected twists, this story delivers a rare combination of heart and suspense. With a strong focus on loyalty, survival, and instinct, it stands out among the most compelling animal stories that reveal how animals often understand what humans cannot. As the Marine uncovers layers of deception and the girl places her trust in the dog over everyone else, viewers are left questioning what lies beneath the surface of control and observation. This is more than just a rescue. It's a psychological and emotional experience that defines the essence of great animal stories. Stay until the end, because the final moments don't just resolve the tension. They leave you with a haunting question that lingers long after the story ends, proving once again why the most powerful animal stories are the ones that never fully let you go.